Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers, a top legal mind in the Silver State and the mouth that roared. And he's got the rundown.
Sam, Harvey Whittemore is one of the most powerful men in the state. He joins us this morning to talk about a variety of subjects. And then we talked to George Harris with 2 initiative petitions to repeal a tax and to keep public employees from being in office. George Harris would like to be one of the most powerful men in the state. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Mary Lau, Harry York, and Wayne Frediani. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowd family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by one of the most influential people in the state of Nevada, and he's not even a politician. Harvey Whittemore with the law firm of Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins joins us. Welcome to the program, Harvey.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you for being here.
All right, let's start. We have lots to talk to you about.
Yeah.
The rumor has been going around that you no longer represent the Nevada Resort Association, and you are now with MGM Mirage, who broke away from the Resort Association. True or false?
False, Sam. Obviously, one of the things that I had, in fact, I think I advised you and Andy some time ago that I was reevaluating what role I was going to take in terms of our lobbying efforts, and in fact what I've done is simply indicate that I'm not going to be representing anybody within the gaming industry except potentially the Peppermill folks with whom I have a relationship with. So again, on an as-needed basis, I've made it clear to Bill Bible that on a project-by-project basis I'll be available if he chooses to use our services, but it's one of those things that a decision that I made that I was going to cut back on the lobbying in terms of a full-time representation of the Resort Association. We have a great relationship with the MGM, but I'm certainly not going to indicate that Terry Lanny and I have any arrangement at all. We talk. Obviously, our firm represents the MGM. We'll continue to help, but I'm not going to be a full-time lobbyist for the MGM. So the big rumor, you've uncovered it. It's not true.
Right in the tank. Okay.
Yeah. And Harvey, I know you're really busy with a lot of business things. I'm fascinated with what's going on as far as Lincoln County and Clark County, and the potential for bringing water to Clark County.
Andy, I think it's a great program that's being proposed. Obviously, the Southern Nevada Water Authority and the Las Vegas Valley Water District and that entire Las Vegas area needs to develop alternate sources of water. One of the things that they've done is, everybody knows, they came to me and we came up with a plan that some of those water resources would come from the Coyote Springs Valley, which Annette and I have a significant holding in.
And Annette's your wife.
And that's my wife. And that we would, in fact, allow them to withdraw water from Coyote Springs and use pipeline to deliver that resource into the Las Vegas Valley. What's being proposed at a national level is a development of water and utility corridors that will allow the continuation of those efforts to acquire additional water resources down the road. So it's a program that Las Vegas needs. It's got to be done in concert with the folks in Lincoln and White Pine counties. This is not a water grab. This is going to be done on a cooperative basis, but it's absolutely essential for the long-term health of Nevada. If Las Vegas does not continue its pace of growth, you'll see dramatic implications on a statewide level.
Wow. Let's go to a story that's been bouncing around now for a couple of years. You and your neighbor up at Glenbrook, Larry Ruvo, have been trying to build a pier off your property. And there's opposition to that pier from one of your neighbors there who says that you want to use that pier for events that would have hundreds of people that would be part of a vast, unlawful commercial entertainment facility. Is that anywhere near the truth?
Nothing could be further from the truth. This notion that somehow Larry is developing a commercial entertainment complex is absolutely false. It's always been false. In fact, that very agreement that's being referenced there, Sam, has a limitation that 12 people can use the pier during the day. How do you get to 200? How do you get to 400? How do you develop this entertainment complex when it's subject to all the TRPA rules and regulations? What we have is a family complex that we have lots of fun with respect to our family. When you tell the kids that they can bring 1 or 2 people to a July 4th party and they bring 3 or 4, with the Whittemores, that gets to be a big number. The same thing with respect to Larry and his extended family. The bottom line is that what we have is when you bring the Ernots, the Ferraros, the Vasiliadis, all your neighbors and friends, and you have a big 4th of July party, it's not some cabal that's getting together to decide what's going to happen. We just have fun with our family. It is a place that I absolutely enjoy, but its sole purpose is to keep families connected, and that's what we do. This whole notion that somehow the pier is going to be part of this entertainment complex is a joke. It just shouldn't. It should be read the way that I think most things are when you're a public figure. You have to look at it and say, what's the kernel of truth there? The kernel of truth is it's going to be a place where we're going to have some fun.
Okay.
And in fact, TRPA had approved it, right?
TRPA's issued the permit for it.
Right.
This is a bunch of people that don't want it because they can't have it. A lot of it has to do with envy.
Okay, I want to get to politics
Go ahead.
quickly.
We got 2 questions. You get one and I get one.
Okay. Senator Ray Rawson yesterday said that he is going to leave Southern Nevada Community College, give up a job for $190,000 in order to run for his seat in the Legislative Senate. Why, Harvey? Why would people give up that kind of money to hold on to a seat?
You have to remember what you see in public servants in the state of Nevada, and that is public service. People see them as public servants, but they don't realize what they give up. Each and every one of these people who serve the state in some capacity really is making sacrifice. And there is no one better than a Ray Rawson who has a history and a commitment to the state, where you really see that more evident in the decision that he's made. He's saying, I'm going to put the state's interests in front of my own and my family's own. He's a fighter. If you look past that quiet demeanor, there is someone who's committed to certain things in the state of Nevada. You've seen his work on the Finance Committee. You've seen that as a Republican, he's still committed to doing the right thing with respect to people in this state. You're not going to see that stop just simply because someone comes in and says you can't keep your job. I think that that's just a signal that he wants to fight, that he thinks he's doing a good job, and he wants the people to make a decision.
All right, last question here. In my interviews down at the American Gaming Summit in Las Vegas, I spoke with both Gary Loveman and Glenn Christensen, both leaders in the gaming industry, and they both assured me that business taxes or gross receipts taxes of some form are going to come back for the next legislative session. Do you think that's a good idea?
Obviously, I respect Gary's and Glenn's position with respect to this. I think that what you're going to continue to see is the debate over what is a correct tax policy. I don't think that you're going to see a consistent effort on the part of the Resort Association. I may be wrong, but I think that you will see that people are going to continue to have the debate, that the right debate will center on what is fair. The gross receipts tax, for whatever reason, got a bad label at the outset because people didn't understand it. But you have to remember, people who are paying the payroll tax today would not have been paying the gross receipts tax under the proposal that either the governor made or as the legislature proposed to amend and adopt it. It was designed to only hit those businesses who had the capacity to pay for it. And what we've seen is a direct removal, and I think that you're going to see some of the smaller banks rise up and say, why did this happen to us when our neighbors in these competing businesses have an advantage with respect to this tax system?
The gaming industry, the banking industry is not happy.
I can imagine, because again, some of their larger competitors got the break and they're going to sit there and pay the bill. And you sit there and look at that, and I think people are going to be upset about it. So I think Gary and Glenn are right that it's going to be looked at, but I don't see any changes in 2 years.
We wish we had more time. Please come back very
definitely.
soon. Harvey Whittemore, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Andy.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Seekh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
Back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by George Harris. He's with the Republican Liberty Caucus, but today he represents Nevadans for Sound Government. Always feisty, Mr. Harris. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to come up and visit with you all.
Good to have you back again. You have 2 initiative petitions, one to repeal the taxes that were passed in the last session of the legislature. How is that doing?
Doing well. We have until May to finish that one up, and we're confident we're going to get there, and we have until June to finish up the constitutional amendment.
Okay, I want to talk just about the taxes for a minute.
Okay.
This would repeal all the taxes that were passed in the last session of the legislature.
It repeals Senate Bill 8, which was, we believe, there was not enough debate, it wasn't discussed, and there's a lot of targeted egregious taxes in that bill. And I might add that the numbers came out last week, our sales tax numbers, which, by the way, sales tax consistently since 1955 has grown every single year.
Right.
And we've increased our sales tax 100% more than what they estimated we would be at.
Right.
Which means if things continue to go, which they will because the economy is getting better, by next legislative session they'll have a nice, healthy
Okay, George.
budget.
But the fact of the matter is that only a small percentage of our budget is based on the sales tax. Most of it's based on gaming tax, and that hasn't been up as much as they
That's
projected.
not true. That's absolutely not true.
Well, I get the numbers monthly from the Department of Taxation.
Gaming's numbers are up. Gaming's numbers are up like every other business.
But not statewide.
Their win statewide. Their win statewide is only 1.3%. Okay.
Right.
That I agree with. Now you have a lot of problems here in Reno. You had a casino closed down. My understanding, they might close another one down.
Right.
And who's to be at fault? But who's to be at fault for that? Listen, our bigger problem is gaming is forgetting about the roots of Nevada. They're opening casinos in neighboring California. Thunder Mountain Valley Casino has cannibalized this market. Okay. And you and I as taxpayers.
What I want to know is, if this passes, it's going to be a mess as they try and take back taxes. Where would you cut? What would get cut?
Excuse me. Why is it going to be a mess? It wasn't a mess. It wasn't a mess. It wasn't a mess in Alabama, and they were already spending the money in Alabama. It wasn't a mess in Oregon. They were already spending the money in Oregon. No prisoners were let out of prison. Schools didn't shut down. What happens is the people said, listen, you're going to live within the means. You're going to have a responsible budget. We're going to do adult stuff here, and we're not going to let you guys just constantly raise taxes. I just want to know, where would you cut? What if you were the governor and the taxes got repealed? Where would you cut? Well, I don't have an absolute list right now. I mean,
well, isn't that a little irresponsible if you can say that we're going to take back?
I could sit here all day and tell you where I would cut.
Well, we got a couple of minutes.
Sam,
what are your top? Give me your top three. Top three. Top three things you'd cut.
Top three, I would privatize the Department of Motor Vehicles. I would look at how we spend our money in the college education system. I'd go back and review those departments. They got 29% increases in their budgets. I would certainly immediately cut out the Henderson College. That is the biggest boondoggle that we've faced. I mean,
I can't disagree with some of these.
No, it's not chump change. It's $70 million just for the community college, or just for the new Henderson College. That's not chump change.
But
listen, I don't want to get caught in the minutia because we're talking about the petitions, okay?
Right.
The petitions and how they're going and how they're getting signed. Why is it bad that everybody says, well, we're concerned that we're now going to be legislating by petitions? Listen, it's in our Constitution. Our forefathers put that in the Constitution, so when government got out of control, people had some sort of mechanism to say, stop it.
Right, and I don't mind legislating by petitions. I think that's the public's way of redressing
and that's our right, and that's all we're doing.
But now, let's get to the public employee. We're almost out of time, so I want to ask about the public employee. And also let me point out to you that all these two petitions do when people sign them is put it on the ballot. That doesn't mean it's going to pass, okay? Right, I believe it will because it's passed everywhere else, but it doesn't mean it's not. And the public will get a chance to vote on it. But what about the public employee one?
Government employees, yes. What about it?
How is that doing?
It's doing just as well. In my experience, when I collect signatures and I go out to companies and the owners of the companies, we're allowed to register their folks, and they let us get signatures. In my experience, I get if I collect 100 signatures, I get 10 or 12 more sign the government employees to stop government employees.
Okay, and this is one I think the public should be voting on because there's so much disagreement. We're out of time. I have to take George to the woodshed. I'll join you on the pundit panel later.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Abowd family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy. combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo Free Checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are joined on the pundit panel today by Harry York with the Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce, Mary Lau, one of our proud sponsors from the Retail Association of Nevada, and Alfredo Alonso with Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins.
And he's not an attorney. We have to make that clear. Because somebody called me the other day and said, you know that attorney from Lionel, Sawyer, and Collins you have on all the time?
Let us talk about a very big deal. I was over at a major property yesterday, and the president and CEO of that property was very upset at the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that concerns Class II slot machines and the expected proliferation of these machines across the country. Would you explain briefly what Class I, Class II, and Class III is, and why this is now going to be a major problem?
Well, first of all, it wasn't a ruling. It was
the Supreme
Court refused to take a case on. It was the Santee Sioux tribe of Nebraska. And essentially what Nebraska has done is they've refused to enter into a compact with any of the tribes. So the tribes started opening their own casinos with these Class II machines. And what the Class II machines are in essence a pull tab type of slot machine. You don't get money.
There's no hopper.
No, exactly. You get a pull tab, and that a reader indicates whether you've won something or not. You bring it to the cashier, and then they cash it out for you. So in essence, it looks like a slot machine, it acts like a slot machine, it essentially is a slot machine.
And they're connected to, as long as there's more than one of them connected to a system, it operates in a manner like the bingo games did.
Correct.
And so
there's several bingo type games that are also part of the Class II.
Right, but these Class II, because normal machines are Class III, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then these Class IIs, the top of them are bingo, but the bottom is now any game they want. So they can now realistically have any kind of gaming that they want without having to go through all the restrictions that we have, for example, in California.
You had a similar problem arise in South Carolina, which brings us to the regulatory issue, where South Carolina did not have regulations for their slot machines. So you had pretty much a mishmash of unregulated slot machines being made by fly-by-night makers, etc. So in essence, what this does is it allows for these Indian tribes to almost refuse to enter into a compact. This could potentially become a huge issue in California, where Arnold Schwarzenegger right now is trying to attain more tax dollars for the state.
Right. Well, now that basically a tribe could just open up a casino, fill it with these slot machines, these Class II slot machines, and not have to get any regulatory agreement with the state at all, right?
And basically, that's what's happening in Nebraska. Now, granted, this still could go to court. It will likely go back to court. This is far from over, but the implications can be very serious for Nevada.
Mary, how do you? I mean, it's good from IGT's point of view. Now that this has been not accepted by the Supreme Court, they're going to build potentially 50,000 new machines. Their stock's gone up. But how do you view this versus California?
Well, I think the issue will eventually, like Alfredo says, is going to go to court because there's too much revenue involved. I don't know about, the worrisome part about the lack of regulation and everything else, because business usually takes care of business and the market takes care of itself. But when you're dealing in governments and stuff like that, it's part of revenue sharing. You want to go to work here, you end up sharing your revenue with the government. And so they'll take it to court again.
Well, there's another piece, I think, too. You could take the regulated ones that have a certain limit of regular slot machines. They could do a whole new wing of unregulated machines that wouldn't have any.
Because right now, I believe that in California, they're allowed 200 of these Class 3 machines, which are the ones that give them everything, but unlimited amounts of these Class 2s, which would mean that they could put in a couple of thousand of them, right?
We know this could hurt us, right? Harry, would you?
Definitely.
What about Las Vegas, if they opened one in LA or just across the state line?
I think it hurts gaming in general. It obviously hurts Nevada, but I think it also sets up a situation where in Nevada you have very strict regulations on the slot machines because it's a consumer issue. You want to have a chance to win. You want to have a regulated chance to win, so that you're not playing a machine that will never allow you to win. Again, that's the whole point of gaming. It's entertainment, but there ought to be a chance to win at some point. In South Carolina, we saw an issue where these machines, you didn't win, and this again potentially opens up another area of unregulated machines. That again, it's a slippery slope.
I want to change the subject now. Harry, you with the Sparks Reno Chamber of Commerce, you guys do not like taxes. I know that. You lobbied against them during the last session. How do you feel about this repealing of the tax passage?
Well, I think that we and other business organizations would like to have George put this in his pocket, and that we look at the whole tax area differently. We agree with him that perhaps too much was passed last time. I would agree. I think they're going to end the year or 2 years with a whole pocket full of money, more than what they had budgeted. But I don't think this is the right way to go about it. It's a lose-lose situation. We repeal what was passed last time, creates all this, another whole time to go back and rehash all that. And as we understand, if it fails, then they lock in at what happened, and only the people can change that. And again, that makes it very difficult to go back and change any taxes.
Mary, how do the public view these kind of things? I mean, do you think there would be enough public support out there to get this through?
I don't think the public totally understands issues when it comes to that, because what you get is sound bites of what you're supposed to believe. So, the public is not ignorant. The public absolutely pays attention, but then you wonder which soundbite you're supposed to believe.
And that's where we have to leave it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this. It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you. Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
In the TV business, we call it the Big Get. Coming up on Monday.
Yes, Sylvia Simano, president of SBC. They have some interesting announcements to make.
And we'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, and you can listen to all 4 shows Sunday morning on KOH from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. See you next week.
Thank you for watching.